It looks like we are live. Hello everybody, this is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. So we have some wet conditions out there. Today it was fairly dry to start and it was kind of humid too. But then we saw the storms really kick in pretty much after noon, and then getting into 1 o'clock we started really seeing some storms fire up. So let's start by taking a look at our satellite and radar. We'll have the satellite up first here. So right now, we just have, you can kind of see these lines just pop up. It was fairly clear, then all of a sudden they just pop up out of nowhere. And that's kind of the story that we see in this typical summer-like pattern that we've been having. We're going to have the heat, and that with the humidity causes instability in the atmosphere. And then in the afternoon, the peak heating, that's when we see some of those storms fire up. So what's out there right now? There we go. We're not really seeing as much as we saw before. We don't really have too much storms in northern New Jersey, right around Patterson there. There were some severe thunderstorms and a severe thunderstorm warning as well, along with flash flood warnings. So that's pretty much out. We're still seeing, let me put this in motion here. So this is live radar right now. We're just seeing these periods of rain. They're starting to diminish because the sun's the fuel or the energy source for these storms. And as the sun gets lower, also with the clouds kind of blocking the fuel source, we're seeing these storms and any lingering rain kind of just die out there. Up into Connecticut, there are still some flash flood warnings in the green boxes there, but that's pretty much out of the tri-state area, and that's going to be the story. And then let's take a look further south. So this is getting into southern New Jersey. We're still seeing these lines, and these were pretty intense storms as they rolled through Pennsylvania, approaching our area. But on here, it's kind of slightly getting this bow shape there. So the bowing means it's a weakening storm, so that is pretty much making its way out, and it's going to be weakening. So we're going to be seeing, and kind of interesting to see, it looks like maybe a gust front there out front that may not actually be rain. Sometimes with the wind, the radar can actually pick up some sort of gusts, and that may be what we're seeing right there, that gust front. But anyway, this is going to be continuing to make its way out into the Atlantic and weakening as the rest of the evening progresses. So now I did send up the drone before, and we are seeing on this freeze frame of the drone footage just overcast skies. This is called stratus clouds because there's no definition. It's just a layer of gray, and that's pretty much what a stratus cloud is. Now let me put this video in motion. The other thing that was kind of interesting I wanted to point out, at the bottom here you can see this is the rain cover, or the front cover of the lens of the camera. That's pretty much showing rain right on there. And then as we pan around, showing just overcast gray stratus clouds. On the highway, it's going to be approaching the highway very shortly, but overall it's very dark and gray out there. And when we take a look at the highway here, it's showing very wet conditions, so there are some areas that are seeing ponding. So if you are driving over any kind of highway there, definitely keep that in mind. Definitely drop your speed as you're driving through the area. As you can see, it's kind of reflective there. So that means it's pretty wet, and there could be a little puddle around a bend there that you may not see. And then as you're coming through the highway, you hit that puddle and possibly hydroplane. So as you're traveling through any roadways, not just highways, definitely be careful and try and slow down and avoid any kind of puddles. And remember, we're not really seeing too much of really flash flooding right now. That was earlier, but the National Weather Service always says, turn around, don't drown. So keep that in mind as you make your way through the rest of tonight. And we're going to see this kind of repeat process for the next couple of days. So now let's take a look at some of these forecast models. We're going to start with the GFS, and actually before we get rolling, I want to show you between the three models I have up, the GFS, the Canadian, and the NAM. So these are all going to be at the exact same time, so keep this image in mind. This is the GFS. This is showing 8 p.m. tonight. This is the Canadian, a little bit different. It's showing a bit more rain on there. This is also 8 p.m. tonight. And the NAM, which is the driest of all of them, this is also 8 p.m. tonight. So having these forecast models, what we call initialize, not very consistent, that doesn't look too good for the forecast and lowers my level of confidence in the forecast. But let's still go through a couple of these and take a look. So with the GFS, through the rest of tonight, let me get into, this looks like it's going to be 2 a.m. We are going to still be seeing some showers, maybe some rumbles of thunder, but that's not really too much of a concern because the sun pretty much is out. But showers and just a possible rumble of thunder tonight. Then when we get into tomorrow, it's still some showery action possible in the morning. This is about 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Fairly dry in others, but some spotty showers until we get to the afternoon. Then we're going to see by Thursday afternoon, from the west, we're going to have another little bit of showery action and maybe some more storms because it's going to be hot and humid again tomorrow, and that's the fuel that could make those storms pop up. So that's what we're going to see into Thursday evening. Now overnight Thursday into early Friday, we're seeing about the same story as tonight, where we're seeing kind of scattered rain, maybe some rumbles of thunder as well. Then when we take a look at your day on Thursday, it still looks like the spotty kind of messy showers that we're seeing, maybe some breaks in there, and then some pretty heavy rain in some spots in the darker green there. But then going overnight Friday into Saturday. So on the GFS here, this is showing 8 a.m. on Saturday, where we have this line right here. There's the center of the low pressure up into Canada, but at the cold front we can see extending all the way down through into southern Jersey, into the Delmarva area there. These little black lines are called isobars, and where you see this kind of kink in the isobar that we can kind of see there, there's another little kink. That's where we can kind of follow the cold front. So this means we may see some showers or storms Saturday morning. And this is the GFS. So keep that in mind as we keep going through this. Then by the afternoon and the evening on Saturday, pretty much moving on out. And then right behind it, high pressure's coming on in, and we're going to have a fairly nice day for Sunday. So when I take a look at the forecast model on Sunday, high pressure is pretty much right to our south, and this is acting like a shield, keeping all of the precipitation and most of the clouds out of the area. So this looks like a very sunny and beautiful day. Doesn't look too breezy because these isobars, they're not very close together. So it doesn't look like wind's going to be too much of an issue on Sunday. Then for Monday, so this is 8 a.m. on Monday. High pressure is just moving out into the Atlantic. But you can see right here, this is the end of that kind of shield action with the high pressure. So as that moves out, as the high pressure moves out, it's allowing these showers to make their way on in. So later in the day on Monday, this is specifically Monday evening at about 8 p.m. We're going to have another round of some pretty heavy rain there. And now when you look at these isobars, they're pretty close together. So it looks rainy and windy going into Monday evening. Then for Tuesday, this is where we're seeing the center of the low pressure system make its way through the area. Overnight Monday and Tuesday, this is where that blotch of yellow came through. So it looks like it's targeting Long Island right there. And what time is this? This is at 2 a.m. on Tuesday. So this is going to be some pretty heavy rain overnight Monday into Tuesday on this forecast model. And then when we go into the day on Tuesday, that starts to make its way out of the area. Still some lingering showers throughout the tri-state region there. The isobars are still pretty close together, so it looks to be still pretty breezy. And then for Tuesday evening, this is about 2 a.m. on Wednesday, going Tuesday night into Wednesday, clearing out there. There's a high pressure system coming in right behind that low pressure system. And when you have these two pressure centers, a low and a high, right next to each other, that causes a steep pressure gradient. And that gradient is similar to a gradient map or topography. So that means there's quite a difference in pressure changes through here. And with that higher difference in pressure, that means wind. So when these isobars get really close together, that's why we're seeing windier conditions. But going through the day on Wednesday, high pressures in the area giving very dry and clear conditions throughout the entire area, but these isobars are still fairly close, so we're going to see a little bit of breezy conditions for your day on Wednesday. So that's the GFS. Now we're going to switch to the Canadian. I already showed you tonight, so tomorrow, a little bit of a different story on this forecast model. So tomorrow morning, this is showing at about 8 a.m. Not really too much, just more spotty showers, South New Jersey, and really the south shore of Long Island there. Then we're going to see in the afternoon, this is afternoon and evening, it's about 8 p.m. tomorrow. This is that next line of some showers and maybe some storms rolling through. So at least it looks like those two are in agreement with the storms coming through again tomorrow evening. Then when we take a look at Friday, not really as much overnight Thursday into Friday. It's just kind of little blotches there of some precipitation, and that pretty much is it on the Canadian for Friday. Still pretty dry, so this is going into 8 p.m. on Friday. Nothing really too much. There's a lot around the area, but nothing really over us. So this is also where some differences come up between the Canadian and the GFS. But one thing that they do have both in agreement is this cold front making its way through on Saturday. So that line I talked about before, low pressure up in Canada, following these kinks in the isobar coming down through southern Jersey, it's showing the same pattern, but this is a different time frame. This is showing at 2 p.m. instead of 8 a.m. So the timing is different between these two forecast models. But at least it's still fairly certain on this pattern showing with a line of showers and some storms rolling through either Saturday morning or early Saturday afternoon. Then the other thing they do have in agreement is nice day on Sunday. So this is 8 a.m. on Sunday. High pressure is down southwest of us. So this is in the northern hemisphere, we are seeing clockwise rotation around a high pressure. So we may be seeing a little bit cooler winds coming out of the northwest. And look at these isobars again, they're fairly close. So this is showing a little bit breezier conditions on Sunday than the GFS did. Then going into Monday. So the high pressure is still to the south of us. You kind of see this little bubble here. That's where the center of the high pressure, which is probably right about there. That's where we're seeing this kind of shielding action. And that's showing the same thing. The end of where the high pressure shield and the rain begins is still fairly in agreement between GFS and Canadian. And then when we take a look at later in the day on Monday, this is 8 p.m. on Monday. That line hasn't made it in yet, but these darker greens, a couple areas there, will be making their way in. So it still looks like we're going to have quite a lot of rain coming through Monday evening, overnight Monday into Tuesday. And we'll go out a little bit more. So this is Tuesday, 8 a.m. again, and the low pressure system's pretty much right over Connecticut there. And these yellows here, different spots, so the intensities are a little bit different, but we are also seeing quite heavy rain coming through a little bit more southern Jersey, maybe the south shore of Long Island there, but it's still showing that we may be seeing some pretty heavy rain going overnight Monday into Tuesday. Then by the end of the day on Tuesday, this is now 8 p.m. on Tuesday, that's pretty much making its way out. Just a few lingering showers a little bit more north into northern New York State there. But we're going to have clear air with this high pressure system make its way in. And this is in agreement between these two forecast models showing fairly nice day for Wednesday. So next Wednesday, this is 2 p.m. on Wednesday. Pretty much dry throughout all the tri-state. That high pressure system is in a different spot. On this model, it's showing north of us, where on the last one, it was south of us. That was giving us northwesterly winds before. Now with this position of the high, and it is clockwise rotation, we may be seeing some northeasterly winds coming through here instead of northwesterly winds. That could make a difference because northwesterly winds are going to be a little bit cooler than northeasterly winds. And the last one, the NAM I want to show you, this one doesn't go out as far. And it was interesting. It was starting out much less intense. This is for tonight as well. Nothing really too much is what the NAM is showing. Then going through this, we're going to look at, let me stop at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So 8 a.m. tomorrow is dry. This is actually showing high pressure showing up very south. This is in North Carolina there, but it's showing it's going to be fairly dry to start out with. Then we're going to see, and I'll show you right here, this kind of blossoming of some showers and storms. That's because in the afternoon we do have that energy, and that's where these storms just pop up. However, it's not really as intense, and this is showing a bit more into Connecticut, not really in the entire tri-state region. And then going into Friday, nothing really too much either. So this is overnight Friday. This is between 2 and 4 a.m. Let me grab that slider again. There. Nothing really too much. Nothing really as much as those other forecast models. This is where it becomes really an art form with weather forecasting. Different models are all showing different things, so it's kind of an art to try and blend all these together into what I think is going to be the forecast. Now when we take a look later in the day on Friday, this is where we are seeing a bit more steady showers or more widespread areas there coming through. And after that, it looks like it's going to be showing about the same story as the GFS. So we are seeing the low pressure up into Canada for Saturday morning. And this line here, this is the cold front where we could be seeing some storms and maybe some intense storms, because this one looks to be a little bit more intense but localized there. And this is also showing at 8 a.m. So that's in exact agreement with the GFS, but in not entire agreement with the Canadian model. And then once this makes its way through, it starts to die out later on in the afternoon. And then overnight Saturday into Sunday, this is 2 a.m. on Sunday. High pressure is making its way on in, and we're going to be seeing a fairly nice day for Sunday. But this is also showing southerly a south high pressure system versus the north on the Canadian. So this is where it's showing northwesterly winds coming around clockwise around the high pressure. So it looks to be a little bit cooler on Sunday than it would be on Saturday. And now let's get to those numbers with the forecast. So for tonight, we're going to still see some scattered showers out there, maybe some rumbles of thunder out there. Winds southwest around 5 miles per hour. Unless you're in a thunderstorm, then you may see a little bit stronger winds. Low of about 70 for tonight. For tomorrow, partly sunny overall. Again, some storms rolling through later on in the afternoon. Winds south-southeast around 5 to 10 miles per hour with a high of 86. Then tomorrow night, low about 71, scattered showers, some storms again. So tomorrow's going to be about a repeat night of tonight. Winds a little bit stronger, south 5 to 10 miles per hour, maybe gusting 15 or 20 if you happen to be caught in a thunderstorm. And now for the 7-day forecast. So Thursday, I'm going to step out here. Thursday, mostly cloudy with some rain or storms in the afternoon. Then for Friday, we are seeing more showers, maybe a little bit in the morning, but some storms in the afternoon, definitely. Then for Saturday, some showers or maybe a storm, but this is leaning a little bit more towards the PM or afternoon clearing with the storms in the morning. Then for Sunday, mostly sunny, pleasant, a little bit cooler. I'm going to say a high of about 82 degrees. Monday, partly sunny. Then we're going to see the rain roll through later in the day, going into Tuesday. Tuesday, we may see some showers or storms again, but then that'll be making its way out late in the day on Tuesday for a fairly nice day on Wednesday with a high of 86. So this is meteorologist Andrew Pinero with this week's weather podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you definitely want to watch more of these weather podcasts, hit a like on my Facebook page. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that little subscribe button below or follow me on Twitter. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. Have a great evening and stay safe with the showers and storms over the next couple of days. Have a great night.